So the workshop is going to be broken down in about 3 parts. The first part will cover college research. The second will cover demonstrated interest. And finally, we will have our guest speaker and a bonus session, which if you have to hang around till then to hear about our bonus to all the students attending today, followed by a Q&A. What should you expect to get from today? You will be able to make an effective best fit college shortlist that is best fit for you. You will be able to identify those activities to pursue to show your demonstrated interest for the goals and the study that you are pursuing. You will learn about opportunities you have right now. So college research can be very confusing. So it's very important that you know that making the right choice is the most important step. But the fact that the right choice at the right time will ensure you get success, fulfillment, happiness, satisfaction, growth, wealth. I am sure everybody wants that. There's no one who says, no, I do not want success, fulfillment, happiness. And otherwise, it just causes a lot of disturbance in your mind for your college. Don't, it's literally like falling off a cliff. You'll end up having a poor performance, confusion and loss. You'll end up relooking at alternatives and going over the whole cycle again and again. The right choice for anything that you do comes from self-discovery. Self-discovery is made by 5 aspects. First comes your course choice, then will be your resume. The third will be your values and preferences, fourth constraints, and lastly your future goals. So firstly, you need to think about what you want to study. You could have decided something, say it's engineering, architecture, business. Or you could say, no, I'm going undecided. I don't know what I want to do. And then you want to bring out your resume. The resume is key because that CV of yours will show you where you stand. What are your academic qualifications? What have you been your experiences? Do you need to add more to it? And if not, based on what you have, where can you get? It's your self-reflection on a piece of paper that is for the world to see. You can't hide from it. It is you truly. The third aspect we come on to, you will have to list down your values. You should think about your experiences that you have had. Think about, for example, when I would really, when I personally, out of my experience, lost a lot of weight and about 30 kilos. And that was an experience which gave me values of achievement. The other thing that I mentioned is that you want to identify your college preferences. And again, think about your experiences, what you really enjoy, and list them down. The other aspect that I didn't mention the last time with values as well is you need to rank them. So college preferences can be anything. It could be your social life, the location. Is it urban, rural, suburban? What are the job prospects you get from there? This list in front of you is about 10 or 12 certain preferences that certain students can consider. And once you link them down, you want to rank them from 1 to 10. Why? It will help you make those tiebreaker decisions later. There are 2 things are covered, but which one I prefer more? Okay, then the next part, you want to be identifying your constraints. And so these are a lot of times when people are thinking about education or even their general goals, they don't realize what their constraints are. And that's something which you have to be aware of. It is something which is there with everybody. Some of these are financial constraints. Will I be able to afford the education? Some people say, no, my parents have to approve where I go. Language barriers can play a huge role if you're thinking of countries such as Germany, Canada, where French is very prevalent. Availability of visas. As we all know, the US has become very stringent on giving visas. Some people know we're like relatives at the destination. So it all works out to where people identify their constraints, but be very mindful of these. Do not do wishful thinking if you know there are certain constraints you have. Yes, you can beat them. Yes, you can work around them, but no, you have to accept them. All right. Lastly, identify your goals. Know what you want to do, what you want to become. So these are 5 things that you really need to consider. And I'm going to repeat them again. You need to think about your course, what you want to study, your resume. You need to be mindful of where you stand, your values, your preferences, your constraints. Very critical, know your constraints. And lastly, where you want to go, what you want to become. All right. And this all needs to tie in together. Why and how? So now you've noted all of this down, but all these data points can be very confusing. I understand that. So what we do is we use the Worldviral funnel approach for college research. Why is it called the funnel approach? So because there are thousands of universities around the world. The USA alone has 4,000. And each university has over hundreds of courses, hundreds of different fields you can approach from there. So, and all these data points, and then all the data points coming internally from you about your values and your preferences, you need to bring them all like a funnel, takes all sorts of large amounts of information, large amounts of quantity of material, and brings it down to that single stream, that focused goal. And that's your funnel. You need to have your funnel vision to your goal. Okay, and now we're going to talk about how you do your funnel and how you make this funnel. Okay, so this is our funneling process. The first funneling part of the funneling process, you need to do your country listing. And for the country listing, the things that you need to be mindful of are your preferences, your constraints, and your job prospects. Why? Because these are more macro. This is very high level, 20,000 feet high level. Okay, these are the countries I can go to. Maybe language, maybe finance, maybe job prospects, visa, relatives. These are very high level things. Then you come down to the college basics. That's your second level. Now, as you see that as you go from each funnel, each layer of the funnel, the criteria of selecting of your ranking of your selections keep increasing. And that is the inverted funnel here now. So as we go from large to small, your criteria has become small to large. All right. So be mindful of that. The college basics. Now you're thinking about your acceptance rate, your scores, whether your ISC scores, your SAT scores, your IELTS score would matter here. The number of international students they accept. There are a lot of colleges which have a cap on international students. For example, think about Singapore colleges. The course offering, does it offer what you want to study? Does it offer the flexibility to study, give both the courses if you're looking at a multidiscipline approach? Does it give financial aid if one of your constraints is finances? And then you start looking down at these specifics. Here is where those preferences really start applying and your values really start coming into play. Things like your Indian population, how close do you want to be with your community? The flexibility between courses. I knew that I wanted to go to a place where I could study engineering and business together. And that means I had to go to the US. There was nowhere else in the world they offer that kind of flexibility. Class sizes. Are you particular that you want a 20-person class or you don't care that 300 people in your class? Location. I personally wanted to go to a suburban location, too far from the hectic city life and the dirt and all the other things that come with it and the crime, but also not exactly in rural hick America. And student life. I knew I wanted to go to college with a vibrant student community. The program at Michigan was fantastic. So, and once you bring down the set of universities that you have in mind, you want to start listing them down. And you want to categorize them into three parts: your dreams, your targets, and your safeties. Your dream colleges should be those that you have about 10% chance to get into. And these should cover about 20% of your colleges in your list. Then comes your target, where you have about a 50% chance of entering. And here again, this should cover 50 to 60% of your list. So if you have 10 colleges, your dreams would cover 2, your targets would cover, say, 5. And the safeties, short, based on my academics, based on my profile, I'm getting in. And by the way, safety does not mean even if I get in, I won't go there. It means I'm excited to go there. I will, if I go there, it is still my dream. Do not think that let me just apply and get admitted and then see what happens. Be very careful of these things. These are traps which you always don't want to succumb to. Moving on. How to do this research? When you're looking at all the different colleges and universities, I would highly recommend looking at the internet. The internet is your best friend. Pop up the laptop and keep researching around. Once you see something, always go online, see some student reviews, see what the professors are talking about, where the students get recruited. Try getting in touch with the alumni from that institute. You can connect with us at Worldviral. We can definitely put you in touch with our network. In most of the institutes, we have someone there. And learn as much as you can about them. Don't just go by what's written. these books are available, but we would not recommend, given that the variety of information that you can nowadays find online. Right? So I hope this covers the first part of our presentation, and I hope everyone here has learned something new. All right, so now we move on to demonstrated interest. All right, what is demonstrated interest? Demonstrated interest is the X factor in you. It is what colleges are looking for. Here's the thing. I had it at my time, SATs were on 2400. I had a 2300 on my SATs, but it did not matter. I had to, it mattered that what was in my profile, what was the X factor that I had that could get me into the college. Think about it. You may be the topper in your school, but there are tens of thousands of high schools and their toppers are applying to these universities, and everyone academically is at the same playing field. You need to know what is your X factor. All right. So you want to do an assessment at any time. How good is your profile? Bad, poor, fair, good, super. If you can't do it, reach out to us, reach out to your alumni in these institutes, maybe, and ask them that, what do you think of my profile? Reach out to people who are in companies, and they will guide you on how good or strong your profile is. And you can just do a fair assessment yourself. And you want to be towards a good and super. Fair, you're leaving too much on the table to chance that the university will take you. So you want to be good or super. And we'll talk about what that means. So here's some examples. I think this part of the program, we are going to talk about a few examples. Reason is so that you kind of understand what is a good profile or a super profile, what is a fair or an average profile, right? Now think about these two students. On the left, you have a student who has done ICSE 90%, and the student on the right has done 95%, which is fine. But you can replace that with ICSE, CBSE, IEB, whatever. It's just a reference guide. And you can see he's done humanities, but what is his profile? He's vice captain. He's done classical music, the school band, taught music at an NGO, and has submitted his musical portfolio. Singular focus, high achievement. While the other student, nature club, intra-club, inter-house javelin, inter-house elocution, all over the place. I have no idea what he wants to do, no idea what he thinks about. Why has he just done everything and not been good at anything? Is he just an average Joe? Why do I want him? He's just going to do everything but not excel in anything. What value will he provide to my university? What value will he provide to my alumni network? Put yourself in the shoes of the admissions officer. Their goals are to get students who will succeed, get good jobs, add to their alumni network, and finally probably donate money to the university. So obviously the selection is to the student who had low marks but had a strong profile. Again, the marks also has a limitation. You can't go too low. So just leaving that. Another test. You have ICSE students who got 94% in ICSE. He is the president of his nature club, researched a paper on sustainability, worked at an organic farm, spearheaded a program to make the school canteen plastic free, ran an MUN, and was on the school debate team. Right? And what is he doing? He wants to go to environmental science at Stanford. That's a strong profile versus someone who's got the same grades, is a prefect or a school captain, is part of the intra club, the computer club, the school editorial board, has done swimming, basketball, everything. But where's the focus? Why is he wanting to do environmental science? Where is the demonstrated interest? Whether you go undecided or for a particular major, the demonstrated interest has to reflect on why you are going to that university. Without which universities will just see you as applying for the sake of applying. It's a $50 or low, cheap admissions fee. So they don't really care much about you. They want to see you passionate about what you do. That is what demonstrated interest stands for. And you need to start working on those aspects. So again, another example, Singapore Management University. Here you're looking at business. Even a student with a lower SAT score, but having done work closely related to one field, delivering results is much better than someone who's done nothing or very little. Just being a member of an organization, taking a class or having participated in a course is not enough. You have to show results. If you have built a skill, you need to show what you did with it. It is not enough to just say that, oh, I took a class on this, oh, I learned this. That's fine. What impact? Where is the impact? Narrow focus, high impact. That's what, if anything, you take the key from this on demonstrated interest, always think about the one thing: narrow focus, high impact. Okay. Think about it again on that. I'm honing on this narrow focus, high impact. Think about the things that, and when you look at demonstrated interest, start thinking about all the aspects where it covers. You want to focus on your passions and interests. Say you want to study business, intern at an FMCG company, run for the president of your commerce society, maybe found the business society of your school. Show that you're passionate about this. Show that, and as part of the business society, do things and spread awareness. Why? Show that you're interested in it. Enhance your skill set, which is catered to the degree that you want to pursue. Students wanting to pursue a business degree want to show skills such as networking, analytical attitude. For example, you may want to host a forum of industry leaders and hold a talk. You want to show that you're analytical. You want to develop analytical based results on the, for example, when you interned at the FMCG company, say I did a market research, on your last 50 customers, I found that 20% of them are only one-time customers, but the 30%, the rest 30% managed to give 6 orders. So now we need to find how we can focus on these 30% customers and make this our target market. And that's a great thing to show on your resume, on your letters, and great way to show that you're interested in this space. Build meaningful experiences. In your internship, show that you bought an X sales. The leadership, show you had led events with 250 plus attendees. Show the actual numbers that you achieved. Make sure that you are very numerical about it, that the numbers speak for you, and they all build up to a whole story. Don't just say, oh, I interned in this company. Don't say, oh, I led an event. It has to be meaningful. Talk about the impact you made. Say if you bought in X sales and this helped the company's bottom line increase so much. You can add to it. You really need to think about your experiences. And if you are taking part in something, I'm being very clear here, and it is not, be very mindful that if it's not leading to a meaningful experience, stop, think, and redo what you are doing. If it means talk to your manager, advisor, coach, anyone, and say, sir, ma'am, I am not getting the right output from this. I need to do something to make a bigger impact. I need to do it for myself to ensure that and remember, say focus on that I need to be sure that this is the right step for me and I want to do something more. They'll love your initiative and they will reward you for it. Colleges and universities love it when you give back something to society. That is something that is very admired across the globe. Okay. So why don't you take, so here's the thing. If you want, take a screenshot of this, no problem, but make your list. And so on your field of interest, to show your demonstrated interest, think about 3 activities. Activity 1, make sure it shows a strong result. 2, show that you're giving back to society. 3, skill development. So again, I'm repeating again, make sure the results are strong, the numbers are there. Think about giving back to society in whatever ways you can think of. You can involve yourself in a lot of internships. You can involve yourself with a lot of organizations. Start something new. Someone's asking, but the cost of studying in the UK for commerce-based undergraduate programs. So, Mr. Agarwal, I would not like to quote on any specific finances right now, but the cost of studying in the UK is definitely about 60% of the cost of studying in the US. For commerce-based undergraduate programs does not make a difference, the undergraduate tuition fee between too many degrees, unless you're doing something specific such as medical. We could discuss this additionally. I could send this over an email about the costing programs about different universities. But it is roughly in comparison to the same as Singapore. But then you do have one thing, it is a 3-year program as compared to a 4-year program. So that is definitely one of the saving cost factors. What are the fields with biology and chemistry? Pritika just asked me, fields in terms of biology and chemistry. I think one of the things, if you're talking about pursuing these careers and you're looking at career opportunities post this, what I would say is that with biology and chemistry, you could think of going pre-med if you're going to the US, or you can go into medicine in the other countries. Otherwise, biotech engineering, chemical engineering are fantastic fields to really look into. Will the COVID-19 pandemic impact the admissions process for universities for international students in any way? Manya, most likely it will not. We have spoken to university admission officers, I think in 6 countries right now, and the situation is that no, it will not impact. It will have no difference to what your application would have stood for before pre-COVID. Yes, they are now more mindful of the fact that maybe you do not have the opportunity to take the SAT exams or some other exams, and which is okay as long as you can showcase that. But in terms of admissions, it will not have whether how you will be able to attend classes. Now that's a different story, and what role will that play? But think about universities themselves know that they exist for students. They will take in as many as they can. Are there any internship opportunities without any specific skills? Mehak, there is nothing called not having a skill. There are certain things like technical skills and vocational skills, which may be something like having and done an engineering degree or a particular course, or like being a Six Sigma black belt. But that is one side of things. Do not ever think that you do not have skills. Skills come in many forms and shapes. Skills includes caring for people. Skills include having a creative mind. You don't have to have a degree or certificate for that. It is your innate ability to showcase that. And that's what you need to start focusing on. Think about the times when you have done well. Remember what I spoke about. In physics, necessary in class 11, 12 to do chemical engineering and biochem. Pritika, yes, for majority of institutes, yes, only few universities in the United States, mostly the liberal arts colleges, will allow you to not do it. Maximum, if you're looking at chemical engineering or biochem, I'm sorry, physics may not be necessary, but chemistry and biology will be needed. So you can maybe drop physics from your list of in your the course offerings. You can drop physics specifically, but if you're looking at engineering as a degree, physics is always good to have, especially if you're going to the US. What are the fields in terms of English and psychology and the career options? Fantastic fields. Think about it. You're looking at journalism, you're looking at HR, management. One of the top recruiters and managers today all are the best in psychology. The world today, successful people are 90% soft skills, 10% hard skills. And what are soft skills? Good communication, good written skills, and being able to perceive the other person. The field is a vast open oyster if you're looking at psychology and English. Yes, maybe certain specific critical hard skill jobs may not be there, but the field is there. It's huge. In terms of internship programs that we are offering, these will tend to be more like 2 to 3 month internship programs with these companies, and you can join in and they will give you tasks. Again, what these internship programs will be, how much you put into it, how much energy, time, and effort you put into it, more responsibility you will get. They will give you opportunities to do actual work, because these are not some large companies which won't care for you. They will want actual work with concrete results. Shresh, why are universities not reducing fees? I cannot comment for them, but mostly think about it. They still have to pay taxes. Their professors have to invest in online equipment. So yes, that does make it difficult for them. Maybe 6 months is a period they may not reducing fees, but if this prolongs itself, they would consider it for sure. But you know, since you won't have to pay for housing, there's already 20% discount, right? Okay, everyone. Time is coming to a close, and I really appreciate everyone who has come on board with us today, and I really hope you will be joining us for our programs these upcoming weeks. They're fantastic programs to get on board with, because they will give you that really good experience. And the list of the companies coming soon will be published. Everything else will be on our Instagram page. Like us, follow us, and that's only when you will be able to get real-time information of what's going to go on. Thank you everyone for joining us today. I really appreciate it again. And if you have any questions, mail me, mail Devanshi, DM us on Facebook and Instagram, and we will get back to you immediately.